Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do, and I'll bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowner's or renter's insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico Easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
The Ticket. Michigan Insider Podcast is brought to you in part by defense attorney and WTKA legal insider Joe Simon. Find Joe at themichigandefenders.com.
And here's the audio. That's what the breaks are for. That's where the engineer comes in. It's like, hey, man, let's check your mic. Let's get it done. We got it done. So we're sounding crisp and clear and better in time for the countdown to the start of the Michigan football season, Miz. And our guy, Ira Weintraub, who's out for one more week, took care of this countdown once again for us, right?
That's right. He took care of it as he's on vacation for another week. But before he took off, he did record some excerpts for the 2 weeks that he's off. And we're now down to 26 days, Sam. 26 days until the start of the Michigan football season. Without any further ado, we send it over to our friend, Mr. Ira Weintraub, who has the historical side of the countdown to the start of the Michigan football season.
It is now time for the countdown to the 2021 Michigan football season. The countdown to the Michigan football season is brought to you by our friends at Lewis Jewelers, your watch store. Find them on Stadium Boulevard in Ann Arbor. Find them online at lewisjewelers.com. Lewis Jewelers, proud partner of Michigan Athletics and Sports Talk 1050 WTK, The Ticket. We are 26 Joe Ponsetto days away until the start of the Michigan football season. 26 days away until Michigan hosts another football game at the Big House. They'll be hosting Western Michigan on September 4th. They'll be hosting Western Michigan on September 4th at Michigan Stadium. As I said, we are 26 Joe Ponsetto days away until the start of the season. Joe Ponsetto was born March 26, 1926, and came to us from the great city. That's right. Another entry in the countdown from the great city of Flint, Michigan. Joe Ponsetto, a quarterback that arrived on campus in 1942 and was a varsity Wolverine 43, 44, and 1945. He was a quarterback, about 6 foot, 190 or so pounds. He was the starting quarterback for Michigan in 1944 and 1945. He was also the place kicker for Michigan. In 1944, he led Michigan to an 8-2 record, number 8 in the final AP poll, and he was named the All-Big Ten quarterback. In 1945, Joe Ponsetto was captain for the Wolverines. They finished 7-3 that year, but number 6 in the final AP poll. Joe Ponsetto went on to become a dentist and had a long career in the Grand Rapids area. Joe Ponsetto passed away November 24th, 2004 at the age of 78. We are 26 Joe Ponsetto days away until the start of the Michigan football season. We are also 26 James Mad Dog Maddock days away until the start of the Michigan football season. Jim Maddock was born December 23rd, 1934, came to us out of Chicago, Illinois, another product coming to us from Oak Park in Illinois. He was a football and a basketball star for the Fenwick Friars from 1951 to 1953. He arrived on campus then in 1953 and was a varsity Wolverine 54, 55, and 1956. He played in 9 games, had 1 start for the 1954 team where he threw passes to Ron Kramer. That team went 6-3 and finished 15th in the final AP poll. In 1955, Jim Maddock was throwing to the touchdown twins, Kramer and Tom Mentz. From an AP preseason story, quote, Michigan's famed pass, punt, and a prayer formula will be changed this year to a pass, a run, and a pass. In all probability, the prayer won't be needed, end quote. Starting 6-0 and reaching number 1, but eventually losing 2 of their last 3 games to finish 7-2. Michigan that year of 1955 finished 12th in the final AP poll. Then in 1956, Jim Maddock was the backup quarterback, but he did appear in 9 games as Jim Van Pelt's backup. Versus Ohio State, Maddock went 5 for 10 for 66 yards and caught a 23-yard pass. Michigan won that game 19-0. He also had a TD run in the 4th quarter of the win as well. He finished his Michigan career 55 for 129 for 849 yards, 3 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, plus 3 rushing touchdowns and 2 receiving touchdowns. He played in the North-South Shrine game in the backfield with Oklahoma's Tommy McDonald. After leaving Michigan, Maddock opened a construction supply business, Maddock Industries, which he ran in Chicago for more than 40 years. He passed away July 20th, 2011 at the age of 76. We are 26 James Mad Dog Maddock days away until the start of the Michigan football season. We're 26 James Mad Dog Maddock, 26 Joe Ponsetto days away until the start of the Michigan football season. The countdown to the Michigan football season is brought to you by our friends at Lewis Jewelers, your watch store, proud partner of Michigan Athletics and Sports Talk 1050 WTK, The Ticket.
And thank you, Mr. Weintraub, for breaking it down for us. Ms.
Yes, sir.
26s on the current schedule?
Absolutely.
Current roster?
We got a couple 26s. Do want to back up to Saturday where we hit the 4-week mark. On Saturday, we were 28 Darian Green Warren days away from the start of the Michigan football season. For those that are wondering, he was a 4-star recruit by way of 24/7 Sports. Sam, do you have any information on Mr.
Yeah, man,
Green
so,
Warren?
Darian, a guy who originally was committed to Oklahoma before backing out of that with some coaching changes that took place there. And this was Shamar Moore sort of dropping in. I'll never forget. He said, yeah, shout out to Shamar Moore. For those who don't know the difference between Sharon Moore and Shamar Moore, Sharon Moore coached University of Michigan. Shamar Moore came to fame as an actor on The Young and the Restless. and Soul Train back in the day, before he got on one of the nighttime cop shows. But a young man who, if you want to know what defines his game, a technician, really, really high on technique. That was one of the things that, helped him become an All-American in high school, and now trying to work his way up the depth chart at corner, safety, nickel, wherever he can in the defensive backfield. So opportunities abound in the secondary for Michigan. It'll be interesting to see how he comes along here in this fall camp. 28, Darian Green Warren.
That was on Saturday. Sunday, we were 27 Christian Bartholomew days away. He's a walk-on wide receiver by way of Galesburg, Michigan, out of Kalamazoo United, 6', 182 wide receiver. We were also, on Sunday, 27 Tyler McLaurin days away, the 6'2", 220-pound linebacker out of Bolingbrook, Illinois, days away.
Yeah, so, the interesting thing to me is on the roster, Miz. I mean, on the roster portion where they just list all the guys.
Mm-hmm.
So that says 6'3", 237. Then when you click his name, it says 6'2", 220. So I don't know, man. I mean, did I don't know which one is right. Did he just get bigger, Miz? Because 6'3", 237 is like, whoa, that's a different Tyler McLaurin than we saw at Bolingbrook High School. Bolingbrook, the alma mater of Michigan defensive back Todd Howard, a guy who brings some physicality to that linebacker spot, but we were impressed when we went to see him. He's a guy who's a sideline linebacker, so he gives you that nose, that mentality in the middle, but he can track plays. He seems like he's a guy that's going to be good, when it comes to defending the other phase of the game, whether that's, dropping in the coverage or, being asked to cover a tight end or a back out of the backfield for a bit. He seems like he's a guy that's going to be capable of doing that. Now, again, if he's 6'3", 237, though, we have to seek some clarity on this to see which one is right. But, man, if he's 6'3" and 237 and still could move like he did at 6'2", 220, ooh-wee. Now we're talking about a guy who you might have to talk about being in that freshman mix or in that linebacker mix as a freshman. Time will tell, though, one Mr. Tyler McLaurin.
And that was yesterday. Tyler McLaurin days away and 27 Christian Bartholomew days away. Today, Sam, we are 26 Jake Thaw days away, a sophomore wide receiver, 6 feet, 190, out of Westport, Connecticut, out of Staples High. He did not suit up last season for any game time. But this young man, though, you've got a lot of numbers. You got a lot of stats on this young man because we are 26 Rayshawn Benny days away. The 6'5", 275-pound defensive lineman by way of Oak Park High out of Detroit, Michigan. We are 26 Rayshawn Benny away. Benny Davis away from the start of the football season.
26, right?
26. Yep.
Ray, where did 26? I mean, I gotta find the story. 26 on the defensive lineman, man. I mean, help me out. How did you land on 26?
Listen, when you're 6'5", almost 3 bills, you pick whatever number you want, man. What number you want, you got it, bro. You got it.
It's definitely a little different, but he took a little different route to Michigan. If you recall his recruitment, this was a young man who was recruited on both sides of the ball, offensive line and defensive line. And I remember back in the winter of what that would be 2020, he came on a visit to Michigan. So this is obviously before COVID shut everything down. And he said, "Hey, what do you want to be recruited?" He said, "I want to be recruited as a defensive lineman." Because before that, Michigan was recruiting him as an offensive lineman. He was rated as an offensive lineman, probably pursued by most teams as an offensive lineman. Michigan said that day, or he told Michigan that day, "I want to be recruited as a defensive lineman." They made the switch. That was the start of a recruitment where Michigan steadily rose to the fore until the season began and things started to go down a bit on the field and in his recruitment, and he became enamored with Michigan State. And Michigan State played up the success it had with one of his teammates, and they sort of his high school teammates. They sort of struck up a friendship. That staff did a good job of reviving his recruitment because Mark D'Antonio had gone down pretty significantly, and he wound up committing to them. Seems like a month or so after they beat Michigan on the field. But we knew that wasn't dead at the time. And as we got closer to signing day, kept saying, "Look out for Michigan with Rayshawn Benny. The light is still on with Rayshawn Benny. It's not over with Rayshawn Benny." He had formed a great relationship, he and his mom, with Sharon Moore. Forged a great relationship, he and his mom, with Sean Nua. And so early signing period comes around, Miz, and he doesn't sign. And so I said again, don't forget about Rayshawn Benny. It's not over with Rayshawn Benny. The light's still on with Rayshawn Benny. A lot of folks saying, no, it's over. We get closer to the late signing period. He puts out an announcement. He had already told Michigan of the flip. As a matter of fact, he had told Michigan of the flip a couple of months in advance. He was coming to Michigan. And the late signing period comes and he flips to the, or he formalizes the flip to the University of Michigan in the late signing period. Said he's blue. And then you mentioned he's 6'5", 292 pounds at a position where size is not plentiful. This is a kid who has a real opportunity because of his physical precociousness to come in and find his way on the depth chart. Not calling it a given, not guaranteeing it would happen, but he is in the mix just by virtue of his size alone. They don't have many guys that, are as big and as physical as him up front. And so a guy who, if we watched him in high school, that from a size speed scenario, he brings, he brings some athleticism to the position that is, is how you draw it up. Now, can he make the leap quick enough when it comes to picking up the concepts that they have up front defensively, brushing up his technique and beating out some guys who have been around obviously a lot longer, who are trying to hold them off. I mean, the odds are against any freshman, but Rayshawn Benny has a shot. I know that was a guy that they were looking to in this freshman class. Which freshman might contribute. I know Rayshawn Benny is one of the names that they held up. So definitely one to check for a little more than others. And we'll see how it unfolds here over the next few weeks to see if he can crack that rotation and be in the mix early in the season. Number 26, not a very, common number for a defensive lineman, but here he sits, number 26, Rayshon Benny.
That's right. 26 Jake Thaw days, 26 Rayshon Benny days away from the start of the Michigan football season. The countdown to the start of the Michigan football season is brought to you by Lewis Jewelers, your watch store, proud sponsor of Michigan Athletics and Sports Talk 1050 WTKA The Ticket.
All right, we have to get to a break. When we come back on the other side, we will start getting into Hall of Fame. And you want to just feel good. You want to celebrate. You want to hear Michigan be put on a pedestal and held out for everyone to see. Examples of greatness. A couple of Wolverines enshrined in the Hall of Fame. We will start getting into that on the other side here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA The Ticket.